already laying the glass down over there.
What?
You already laid the glass down over there.
Oh, is your daughter giving you the boot? Oh, but this is my podcast, so is that your seat?
Oh,
Yeah, it is. Don't you? Don't. No, you know what? Here's what happens: is you guys team up with me hardcore.
Not teaming up on you.
Bullshit. By
Oh my
nature, I know
gosh.
you guys talk shit behind my back.
Who talks shit behind your back?
ABC.
Dad.
Oh,
And we don't.
Hold on. No.
we don't
Shh.
behind
Stop.
her back?
we shouldn't talk about ABC without the boss.
The
I didn't start it.
I didn't either. I was just recruited.
It's so funny because I think you'll admit you were a little shitty towards me for no reason at all today.
Aren't I every day?
No, a little bit.
Uh-huh.
Every day?
But no, immediate. No, hold on one second. How about this? Can we say that it was 50-50? That you were like, I was being a little shitty. I wasn't being 100% shitty. Bert's in a way. I have had a rough day. We can say that, right?
I guess. I mean, I don't, I feel like we shouldn't really discuss this on the podcast because I feel like the only right answer is the answer that is right for you.
No,
instead of what's actually happening, in my opinion.
Okay.
So I don't know that that's a great discussion to have because I wasn't having a shitty day. I had a long day.
My point is that I was trying to get back to the ABC Club.
Yeah.
I was saying that, like, despite, I guess it wasn't 50-50. I guess I was more wrong than you. But regardless, my point was that Ila joined your team immediately.
No.
She did?
A hard fucking
But why
core.
is there a team?
I just heard it from the other room, and I saw what I thought was right.
Why
I
isn't
heard
there
what I
just
thought was right.
an observation instead of a
Yeah.
team?
Yeah, Dad.
I don't think of us as on different teams.
I don't either of them.
No, I don't. I really don't. I feel like I don't feel that way. That's why I feel like it's hard for me to say what I feel because that's going against your team when I feel like we're both on the same team. And if you're willing to hear me, then I should be willing to hear you and vice versa. But sometimes I don't feel like you're willing to hear me unless I say exactly what you want to hear. And then you can hear me. But if I say, I don't completely agree with that, then you feel like I'm being diversive or I'm trying to win or when I may genuinely have a different opinion of what happened than you because we are two different human beings who experience the world very differently.
I agree.
Just like you had a very different experience than I did. And one experience is not more important than the other, but they are different. They are not the same.
I agree.
So.
But it feels like the girls just accept your experience
they
more.
experience the world more like I do.
The way you do. And
Yeah.
then I feel like I'm alone in the experience.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Either you're going to have to talk into the mic if you're going to be on the podcast.
No. Make her sit up like a human being. Ila, sit up. But like I feel like the girls experience it more through your eyes than mine. And whatever we went through, which I was trying to say was 50-50, was obviously way more. It's like 80-20 now, apparently.
Why does it have to be valued? Why
because
do you have to
my point
value it
was
all?
is that the girls, Ila immediately was like, started berating me silently through lip motions and going, "What did you see? You didn't see it."
I don't know what you're talking about.
Dad,
Thank you. Let us share this moment. Go ahead,
I heard you being victim. Like when Mom was going near you to open the cabinet, you immediately, like when you were not even next to the cabinet.
Hold on.
Dad, don't interrupt. Don't interrupt. You stepped back and said, "Sorry," and then Mom was like, "Okay." So then Mom walked away, and then you were like, "Oh," and I was like,
So you went behind my back? Is that what?
"Yeah, that happens all the time, Mom."
You didn't. Are you sure about that?
I feel so alone in this.
But maybe it's because, and I mean this genuinely and not in any shitty way.
Don't say it. I think it's gonna hurt me.
It's not gonna hurt you. But I think that you experience the world more intensely than most people. So that if I go, "Wow, that was crazy," what you hear in your head was, "That was so fucking insane and crazy and ridiculous." When what actually happened was, "Wow, that was crazy." I'm not saying that's wrong. I'm just saying I think you experience life more intensely. And there are positives to that. where you rob a train in Russia and you have all these amazing experiences. And then there are negatives to that. Just like there are positive and negatives to me being like, wow, that was amazing.
Yeah.
Do you see what I mean? So, but then you have to know about yourself. Perhaps I'm experiencing this more intensely than is justified in some situations, not in every situation.
Yeah.
But maybe that's part of it. Just like in some situations, I am less sensitive than most people would be. I mean, would that be fair to say that in some situations I am less sensitive than
Does that
people,
make sense, Ila?
other people
Is
should
mom
be?
less sensitive in most situations?
I didn't say in most situations. I said in some
In
situations.
some situations? Wait, why you're looking at me like you're about to take me down?
No, I'm not, Dad. I was gonna agree with you.
I think it's fair to say every human being is flawed, and everybody has a place where they could process things improperly on some way or another. And so I try to understand that about you and at the same time take care of myself. So
I do experience situations more intensely than other people.
you do.
I
And
don't
that's
know how
part
it's
of what
like.
makes you a great
I was
comic.
telling people about scrolling today,
Uh-huh.
and no one understood it. And I was like, "No, if Ila was here, she'd get it." And it was just after having a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
We did this hot tub shot, and we had a lot of fun. And I was like, I got done, and I wasn't done. Does that make sense? You know what
Yes.
that means, right?
You feel things very intensely.
All I thought was
But-
like, I need a pickle or a Diet Coke.
I need a pickle.
I need
That's
something.
funny. Your daughter ate an entire jar of pickles today, so she was eating pickles for you.
Yeah, and I was like, and I wish more people understood scrolling.
But if
'Cause-
everybody on the planet understood scrolling, it would be absolute chaos. Like if you, I was talking today to my trainer about how you're a shopper, how you always buy hats and shoes and pocket knives, and you're a shopper. And I'm not really a shopper that way. And he said to me, "Aren't you glad only one of you's a shopper?" He said, "I'm a shopper. My wife's not. If my wife was a shopper, we'd be totally screwed." And I went, "Yeah, that's true. So one person's a shopper, one's not. One person's a scroller, one's not. One person feels very intensely about certain things that maybe the other person doesn't." And
But how about this, Ila? Tell me this as a fellow scroller,
not a shopper.
and Georgia is not a shopper.
I'm not a shopper.
No, but you're a scroller. Georgia's not a shopper. You will be a shopper, baby. Trust me. Do you ever want to explain to Georgia the way I want to explain to mom? Like, no, I'm not done yet. Like, my thing isn't finished. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like when you wanted a second Coke in the night.
In the night.
Every night.
No, but like the other day, you had to pretend that I brought in a Coke magically that you hadn't asked for. And then you were like, Dad just brought it in. And I was like, bullshit.
ho. Truth be told.
Like, is there a part of you that wants you to explain to mom, like, hey, what's wrong with you that I can't have a second Coke? Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, where do you not see that life isn't about the second Coke? It's not about a glass of water like Georgia may have. It's about sprinkles on ice cream or 3 toppings on a Menchie's as opposed to just 1 topping.
It is, but it's also about the other. I don't discount that that's the way you want to live, but you shouldn't discount that I want to live with more moderation.
Hold on one second. Hang on one second. And I'm just playing devil's advocate right now. And we may never release this podcast because we're getting really into our ids and psyches in this. But like, where are you going? But like, why is it? And I want Ila to find a balance in life when it comes to a second Coke in life or a root beer in life. But why is it that we get chastised for our behavior? Whereas like I opened a bottle of wine and you're like, you drank all the wine this month? And I was like, no, we had people over all month. Why would you say that? Like, as opposed to you go out to the refrigerator, you look for a Coke. You're like, Ila, you drank all the Coke? And it's not Ila. It's everyone that had Cokes. But like, here's my question to you, Ila. Why do we get chastised for our excessive behavior when we like to have a Coke or 2 Cokes in a day? Or you know how many diet root beers I can drink. My biggest problem is root beers in this world. Diet root beers, I could drink a 6-pack in a day without a doubt. Diet cream sodas, I can murder them with a 6-pack. But why is that negative when we celebrate your kind of
Limit.
your limit? You can limit things. Does that make
I
sense?
don't know that we celebrate my limit.
You and Georgia could have water for the rest of your lives.
Yeah, but we don't celebrate that. I think that the fact that you have 2 or 3 or 4 Cokes is unhealthy for you, for your physical body. Biologically, it's unhealthy. If you could have 4 Cokes and it have the same effect on you as water, I wouldn't really care. It's that I know how much sugar is in a Coke, and that's unhealthy. That's what it's about. I don't care if she drank 50 if it had the same effect on her as water.
Why
So-
am I the main subject of
Well, you're
that?
the one that wanted to be on the podcast, lady.
Yeah, but I don't
Welcome to the
wanna-
jungle. Nice outfit you picked for me, too. Thank
Oh,
you very much. My stylist, Ila Kreischer. So I don't know. I don't feel like you guys go, look at that moderation. Oh my
I
God, they're
definitely don't.
amazingly moderate. I don't think that's
I-
celebrated.
I
I
kind
think,
of.
in fact, you make fun of
I
me
do
sometimes
that.
for it
I don't.
and look down upon it. And I don't look down upon
You're getting
excessiveness.
told to shut up right
I
now.
just feel like it's not healthy for your physical body. What?
But I think it's better that you have that than me have sprinkles. You know?
I don't know that it's better,
Well,
but I think it's better for your health. But it may not be.
Do you think it's
better
something wrong with
necessarily.
our brains where our brains go,
Maybe it's just because we're dyslexic.
maybe? I wonder if it is. I wish there was like a way they could figure it out. Because there's something with our brains where we go,
It's a hot singlet.
What does that mean?
It's a hot singlet.
it is a hot singlet.
Yeah.
So I'll tell you a story, Isla, about yourself that
What?
you don't know. So we took you to brain camp. Remember we took you to brain camp? Remember brain camp? Brain camp?
I don't want to remember it.
You remember it though?
Mm-hmm.
So this lady was explaining your brain she did a whole exercise on it, on figuring out your brain.
It was like a CT scan on your brain
and
with electrodes on it so they could read like the electric patterns that were happening in your brain so they could see where your neurons were firing and where they weren't, or what, not where they weren't, but where they weren't firing at the right speed or something. I don't know.
so she sits Mom and I down to explain about your brain. And the first sentence I tap out immediately, and I realize she's from Edmonton, Canada. I just immediately, she's from Edmonton, Canada. I got her. Do you remember this?
Yeah, but I don't remember what
So
does that matter?
I'll tell you the story.
Okay.
So she starts explaining your brain to Mom and I, and how you process things, and dyslexia and all the stuff that goes on with you now. And then she says, does that make sense? And all I've been thinking is that she's from Edmonton, Canada. And my mom goes, yeah, that makes total sense. Then they look at me, and I go, are you from Canada? And she goes, I am. I go, are you from Edmonton? And she goes, I am. Why are you asking this? I go, I knew it. She goes, well, what do you have to say about what I just said? And I go, I wasn't listening. And she went, what? And I said, I wasn't listening at all, but I know you're from Edmonton. Like, did you have a truck growing up? And she went, hold on, none of this matters. Why is this the topic? And then Mom says, well, I think you just met Ila's brain in adulthood. Like, I didn't listen to a word she said, but my brain is different in that what I caught up, what interested me, or what fascinated me was the nuance of her accent. And I knew that accent. That's Weecho's wife's accent. And I picked it up and I went, God damn it, she's an Edmonton Oilers fan. I bet if I said something about the Oilers, it's different brains work at different frequencies.
That's right.
And they pick up different things. And to say that one brain is better or worse than the other is inaccurate, because
They're all necessary.
my brain is so fucking broken. But it works for what I do for a living. In small.
Well, it works because you're happy as a
Very,
human.
yeah.
You're successful as a business person. You're a good friend to people. You're a good dad. So it's not broken. It just functions different than most people on the planet. in certain capacities, and in other capacities, it functions the same. So it's not broken, just like I'm not broken because I can moderate myself a little.
Hey, baby,
differently.
all of us would love to have you and George's brain. Where
Not
you have
necessarily.
an egg,
It's not always
half
fun.
a piece of toast.
Yeah, but being super pragmatic is not always fun either.
What does
But
that mean?
That means I'm really like, well, does this make sense? No, then don't do it. Well, sometimes you should just do it anyway. But my brain goes, well, that doesn't make sense. Why would I do that? And so I just don't do that.
So what do you think you've learned from my brain? Like, is there anything you've gathered from me and Isla's brain where you've kind of been like, that makes total sense. I got to start doing that more.
Yes, I think taking risks is something that aren't calculated so much, like starting this podcast. And in the past, I would have been like, well, I'm not going to make any money. It's going to cost too much money. I don't know what I'm going to talk about. And that sounds like self-esteem stuff, but it's actually practical stuff too. It's very practical, pragmatic thinking. And instead, I just went, just don't worry about it and just do it. And you'll figure it out as you go, which is what you told me to do, which is not my natural way of going. Like, we bought this house that we're remodeling. I had a binder within the first week, organized by room, and had already started planning everything. And we're 2 or 3 months from even demo because of our permits and our architectural drawings and stuff. But I go, let's get all these ducks in a row so when it's time to hit the pond, we got it going. But that's not how your brain works. Your brain goes, no, it'll all work out and we'll figure it out. And you always make it happen. Every time. It always happens. But my brain just doesn't work like that. So I have learned to take risks. I think you force me into having more fun, right? Because you have fun in, this sounds stupid, but not reckless ways, but in ways where I go, no, actually the kids should be in bed. Like they should be asleep. Like they need to sleep 10 hours.
How about last night?
If they go to, what happened last night?
Perfect. Georgia gets her driver's permit.
Yes. Well, that's right. So last night it's 10 o'clock. It's past everybody's bedtime. Bert says, hey, why don't we take a drive around the block? And my first instinct is no, it's bedtime. I mean, if we're going to do that, it's really going to be 11 when she goes to bed because we'll be out in the car for 25 minutes. By the time she gets home and brushes her teeth and gets to bed, it's 11 o'clock. The girl gets up at 6. That's 7 hours sleep. She doesn't get home till 7 o'clock at night. That's my pragmatic brain goes, no, that's not good.
But we had an absolute blast.
We had a blast. We went
and
anyway.
And that's turning into a bit. I guarantee you that will be one of my bigger bits.
What, the bullying of mom?
No,
Pastor pragmatic brain.
I'm not gonna share it on the podcast because I want to save it for the stage.
Yeah.
But I was laughing fucking hysterically last night.
Yeah.
Oh, it was so funny. But Isla's brain's like mine, where she's like, let's do it. Georgia obviously is self-centered at that moment where she's like, I definitely want to drive. But yours is like, it's 10:15. The kids can't drive past 10:30. We're not going to do this.
Yeah.
Well, we had 4 minutes to spare.
When we parked. We were 4 minutes early. Well, Ila has a little bit of moderation because sometimes she'll go, you know what, I'm going to bed.
Isla's moderation angers me.
Why?
Because
you should be happy for it.
She does do this in like a weird way. Like when you got I have no moderation. When you got your blockers on and you're like, I'm not going to that party, I'm going to bed. I do not understand that at all.
No, like I couldn't go to that party.
No, I understand that. But like the fact that sometimes you come home and you go, it's 6 o'clock, I'm out for the night, I'm going to bed.
Or maybe I'm just really tired.
No, I understand you're really tired.
Really tired.
Can I tell you what happens to me?
What?
I push through it.
The fun's more important than the self-care.
Than the self-care.
And for Ila is somebody who actually, believe it or not, recharges her batteries by being in a room by herself and just like regrouping. But she's super, super social, but you don't. You recharge your batteries by being with other people.
I recharge my batteries by being around people. Do you feel like you're more like mom or me, Ila?
You. I have your brain.
You have my brain, But who do you feel like you're more like?
I look like mom.
Yeah. You're angry like mom.
Yeah.
You don't apologize like mom.
Yeah.
You're stubborn like mom.
Yeah.
Do you have any of mom's good qualities or just all the shitty ones?
I don't
Same
think
hair color.
It's a good call.
Good deal.
Well,
So-
tell me something. Hang on 1 second. Tell me some of mom's good qualities that you think Ila has.
She's goofy. I'm pretty goofy. No?
Yeah, you are. You are. I have
don't walk around goofy all the time.
No, you're
but-
not. That's not what I'm saying. I have a different type of goofy than both of you.
Yes, I'm not saying you're
No,
my
we're not
mini
trying to say
me.
that.
You're not exactly like me, but you have a goofy streak.
Mm-hmm.
You can be goofy.
No, I think
Silly.
when you think goofy, you're thinking funny. Your goofiness is the same goofiness. You guys all got mom's goofy of like talking to animals a certain way.
Oh,
You guys all got mom's goofy of like stupid television shows of like you and mom's goofiness is talking in QVC.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Yeah.
that's your goofiness.
That's goofy and playful
Mhm.
that way. Right? Dad's goofy. Dad's not goofy. Dad's just kind of funny. He's funny, but he's not goofy.
I wasn't saying. I was
Okay.
saying I have a different.
sense of humor. Of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
Okay.
Who do you think you'll grow up to be more like, mom or dad?
Myself.
I agree.
That's a great answer. Jesus Christ, you're not my kid.
That's what we want. You to be yourself.
Okay, can we move on?
Yeah. I have a question for Dad. Since he asked me what he felt like I learned from his brain, what have you felt like you've learned from mine?
Nothing.
Awesome.
Mean.
Moving on. So, good. That's good. I'm glad you haven't learned anything from me.
You're
Thank you,
so
babe.
mean, Dad.
So,
Hang
Ila.
on. Are you being serious? You're going to switch subjects? I feel like you're really mad at me right now.
No, I'm not mad at you.
He's not.
No, I'm not mad at you.
Dad.
I don't know what you're saying with your braces.
I don't know what you're saying either. Just say it.
Victim?
I'm not being a victim,
I'm being
but
a victim?
like, no,
No.
I am. She's saying I am.
Oh, Dad's being a victim. No, I'm not mad at anybody.
What do I think I've learned from you?
Yeah.
Is that what the question was?
Yeah, that's what you asked me, was what I've learned from living with you with your brain that's
What do I think I've learned from living with you?
impulsive.
There's a lot. I said it the other day. You can't. It's the reason I cleaned my closet before I got into production. Is that chaos begets chaos? Is what you say.
Yes, I do.
And
say
I
that.
thought I don't want to live in chaos going into January because I'm fucked.
Right.
I need to be organized.
Right.
Um.
And your closet looks amazing.
Well, I would thank you, but you did.
I didn't do anything. You did all of it. I didn't do anything to help.
One of the big things about you is that you got to spend money to make money.
Yeah.
It's super simple, but like you got to invest in stuff to make stuff. You can't just, nothing comes from free. And I think I killed myself on this podcast and in content, and I killed myself for like 3 years trying to just turn and burn and make shit and create shit. And it was you that were the first one that was like, just fucking pay Halston. Like, just, it's okay. I don't know how much, I've never opened a bill. I don't like looking at stuff. Gives me anxiety. But you were like, we have enough money to pay someone to do stuff, and then lighten your load. That was a big, big thing.
Right.
You don't have a problem walking away from stuff. I have a real problem walking away from stuff.
Okay. That's awesome. Thank you.
But like, I wish I could walk away from more stuff,
Yeah.
but I can't.
Yeah. What? What is it, Ila?
Nothing. I think we're getting.
What?
Mm.
Hey, speak up. This is an audio podcast, so people are listening.
Well-
what do you say?
Nothing.
Say it,
Nothing.
baby.
It's actually nothing.
Okay, I have some questions I thought about. What was I going to talk about before I knew Dad was going to be on the podcast? Because I didn't know when Dad was going to be home.
Mhm.
What do you think is the hardest thing about being an adult? What do you think is the hardest thing?
Getting a job.
Getting a job?
Yeah.
Why do you think that's so
it's
hard?
hold on, I'll answer this as a child as well.
Okay.
It's overwhelming.
Yeah,
Like, how do you get a job?
Like, how do you get a job to pay for your apartment that you're staying in?
Oh,
How do
dear
you get a
God.
job to pay for your food, pay for your health care, and everything like that?
So do you feel like you're kind of aware of how much things cost?
Yeah.
No.
And
I
No.
think she is.
No, I
actually.
meant for
Yeah.
me. No.
Oh,
Yeah. But-
okay. I'm questioning both of you. I
Yeah,
got
both
it.
of
I
us
got
are
it. I got it.
children
I
in
got it.
this.
Okay.
let me tell you what I'm thinking.
Okay.
I'm thinking it's really hard because like if you're by yourself and you have an apartment by yourself and you have like a seizure and then no one comes to get you and then you just die there alone.
Okay. So we need to get you Life Alert.
Yeah.
And when you live alone, we'll get you Life
Jesus
Alert.
Christ.
So that will go off. Well, that's
Mm-hmm.
really, as a young person, that's really unlikely.
No, like or like if you have like a really, really bad fever, if you have like the flu suddenly, then you're just there.
You slip and fall in the shower washing your feet.
Yeah,
I
and
know
then
what you're talking about.
you don't have a bench seat to sit down on, like the old.
You can buy a geriatric. bench seat.
Wait. Ask that same question my way. Keep going.
What's the scariest thing you think? What do you think is the scariest thing about being an adult?
I honestly, how do you get a job? Like, how do people get jobs?
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's so crazy to me that like, what do you like walk into a place and go like, are you guys hiring?
Yeah.
That's really scary. How do you get a job? Like when say you're a tax accountant or just like, say like a middle management, PR, not PR, but like what's HR? Like, and then you get fired from HR and then how you get other jobs in HR? Like you just like get a headhunter and then he finds like, it's so scary. How do you get a job? Like, I know I don't know how I get jobs, but like, I've just created work for me,
Mm-hmm.
where I've been like, get me in your place. Do other people do that? Like, that's so crazy.
Sometimes people do that. It depends on the job. I know.
I've never been in the workplace ever. I mean, I have folded sweaters for a little bit. I worked in Barnes and Noble, but it's beyond that.
Well,
it's
how
just
did you get your job at Barnes and Noble?
it was fucking terrifying. I'm not even being.
Why was it fucking terrifying?
Because I walked in and I said to one person, "Are you guys hiring?" And they said no. And I went, "Okay." And then I started to walk out, and someone goes, "Are you looking for a job?" And I went, "It's such a
And what'd you say? Yeah.
it's such a degrading question. Are
basement?
you looking for a job?"
Why is
And
that
you're
degrading?
I don't look. Maybe that's just me, but like it was like I had to be like, yeah, like very vulnerable. Be vulnerable and be like, yeah, I'm looking for a job. I don't have any money, and you have all the money, and I need your money, and I can't live without you saying yes right now. And I was like, yes, and they were like, full time or part time, and I was like, anything you got. It's such a weird place to be as an adult.
Is it the basement that had cameras? Is that
Yes, it is. How did
Okay.
you know about that?
because you told us?
Yeah, it was. It was Barnes and Noble, Astor Place. And then this guy Dwayne took me down to the basement, where that was technically. And he interviewed me. And it's just such a vulnerable, like
That's
needing
so
something.
fascinating because my point of view is totally different when I was looking for a job. It made me feel really empowered to walk in and go, "Are you hiring?" Because I would like to apply. I always never minded looking for a job.
What were your
That's-
jobs though? Like, did you
Well-
work at Barnes and Noble?
Well, I sold wedding gowns at a bridal shop. I checked out movies at like a Blockbuster type store that wasn't Blockbuster. I waited tables. I
How about
worked
this?
as a receptionist in a couple places.
Is it possible that I was the first millennial? That I was like all these millennials who don't want to like. I was just
you were the pre-millennial.
I was a pre-millennial who just rolled in like I'm better than this. Like I understand millennials 100%. I know it sounds so silly as a guy that is my age, but like I get it. Like I don't want to go in and work in a system. I don't want to like. But there's an old school part of your soul that goes, I was proud asking for a job.
Well,
That's crazy.
I was proud to be supporting myself. So to me, asking for a job was me standing on my own 2 feet, supporting myself, because I had to do, I got my first job when I was 13.
How old do you think I was before I started supporting myself?
Fully?
21?
Like fully. Like, that's a good question, because I remember I went to Mike Osborne's apartment in Jacksonville, Florida, and he had a stereo system in his bedroom, and I went, and I lived with him. I lived with Ozzy for a long time, and I said, when did you get that? And he said, I bought it. I said, what do you mean you bought it? And he goes, with my paycheck, I bought it, and it blew me away.
Wow.
That he got a paycheck and he could buy a stereo and he didn't have to ask his dad.
I think
anything.
you may have suffered from some Arrested Development.
Hardcore.
I
Well,
think
no,
you-
hold on. I lived without a lot for a long time.
You lived without a lot?
Is
that what you said?
Like, I just lived with nothing other than rent.
Oh, you didn't have a lot of expenses.
I didn't have a lot of expenses. I didn't have a lot of wants. For me, my whole life was stand up. All I needed was a TV to watch Quantum Leap.
Ah.
And go do stand up at night. So like I didn't have a lot of like, I wasn't caught up in a like keeping up the Joneses.
Well, how did you have health insurance?
My dad paid for my health insurance because I
Okay.
went skiing with Daughter Ila. Want to hear a good story?
Mm-hmm.
So there's a comedian named Dimitri Martin. He's a very, very funny, very talented guy. And he said to me, hey, do you want to go skiing with me and a bunch of my Princeton friends? Princeton's like an Ivy League school, right? Go skiing with me and a bunch of my Princeton friends in Vermont this weekend. And I was like, yeah, I didn't know anybody in New York, right? I knew nobody. I had just come off living homeless practically. Like I literally was not many times, but did sleep on a park bench and did crash at other people's houses. So like I did not have shit. And I said, I definitely want to go skiing. So I reached out to dad and I said, hey, I want to meet some people. I'm looking to get an apartment. I'm going to go skiing with these kids from Princeton. Can you help me pay for the ski trip so I can meet someone so I can get an apartment? And dad said, yes, 100%. So he said, number one, though, you got to get health insurance. I said, really? He goes, you got to get health insurance immediately. Like, you can't go skiing without health insurance because if you break your knee, you're fucked. You're fucked, and it'll cost us $100,000. So that's how I got health insurance. That was how I got health insurance. So then I go skiing. Dimitri goes, my buddy Dave's going to pick you up, and then he'll pick me up, and we're going to all go skiing. Dave picks me up. We go to pick up Dimitri, and on the ride there, Dimitri goes, I can't go. And I went, okay. I was like, still, I'll meet a bunch of friends. I'll meet a bunch of new people. We'll have a great time. No big deal. We get on the interstate, and all of Dimitri's friends say, I can't go. So now it's me and this guy, Dave, in a car going skiing in Vermont by ourselves.
Oh, my God.
And then Dave says, I'm in a bad spot. My fiance just dumped me today.
Aww.
And I went, cool. We drove to Vermont and he talked about his fiance. He started drinking again for the first time in Vermont. He wanted to learn how to snowboard and I already knew how to snowboard. So I had to sit with him snowboarding all day. It was one of the worst trips of my fucking life.
Yeah.
And I blamed Dimitri Martin more than anyone.
Well, who else would you blame? He bailed.
It was, but I that's how I got health insurance.
Uh-huh.
But this guy called dad and I said, I'm going skiing. And he's like, you got to get health insurance. And I never had it. I may have had it under him, I'm sure. But, you know.
Interesting.
I'm sorry that I derailed the podcast.
That's okay.
Yeah.
It's fine.
I have a question for you.
Yeah.
I don't have a question. I just wanted to say that.
Oh, you did? You just wanted to say I have a question for
Yeah.
you.
Do you ever have any questions for me and mom that you'd love to know about mom or me?
No.
Not curious at all. We're just open books.
About who we became, and why we became those people?
You've already kind of told us.
Oh,
Do you think?
we're so boring, huh? So, I have another question. So, what do you think is the easiest part of being an adult?
Oh,
I'll take care of this.
Dad, stop.
Getting
I'm
alcohol.
asking.
Getting
Ila.
alcohol.
Getting
Go ahead.
alcohol. Okay.
Probably moving out.
That's the easiest part?
Yeah.
Leaving me? Oh my God.
Yeah.
That's the easiest part is leaving me?
Yeah, because everything else is rough to do.
Oh, it's going to be rough when you leave me, lady. You just wait.
Baby, you're not leaving anywhere anytime soon.
Well, do you think I want to?
Not at all. I know you don't want to.
But like, I know one of like the most like scary things of being an adult
You're talking to the
is
mic.
sleeping at night.
Sleeping at night?
Yeah,
I agree with that 100%.
because someone could sneak into your thing
And murder you.
and kill you,
Yep.
or put you up for adoption.
I am sorry that you have those kinds of thoughts. That must really be scary. That you think is that what you think about at night?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of scary.
Both of us or just her? Yeah, I think it too.
Yeah.
I have windows in my room, Mom.
Everyone has windows in their room.
I don't know
It's-
if they're locked or
It's
not.
required by the fire department. You have to have a window in your room.
Required by the fire department.
The housing department kind of makes you do that. So if think about your 5th grade Ila, you think about your 5th grade Bert. Okay. Is there some advice you could give your 5th grade Ila about middle school?
Don't be stupid.
Don't be stupid. What does that mean?
Like I I was walking up. I was with I think Dakota, and we were walking to like the Sea Arcade or something to get like our backpacks
Yeah.
and like stuff because we did a thing and wait a minute. No, we were going to the Sea Arcade to get our lockers.
Yeah.
And this guy, I was wearing these really weird pants, and this guy came up to you, he was like in 8th grade, and he was like,
This happened in 6th grade?
yeah, he looked at my pants and he was like,
He was giving him the hairy eyeball.
yeah, and I was
Uh-huh.
like,
And you were giving him the hairy eyeball back. 'Cause
Yeah.
people can't see your faces if they're just listening.
yeah, and he was like,
Hairy eyeball continue.
and then I was like,
Another hairy eyeball.
and I was like,
Okay,
just-
conclude the hairy
and I
eyeballs.
was like-
what happened?
I was like, just walk away from me. And he was like, are you sure about that? And I was like, don't be a smart aleck. Walk away. And
Wait,
then
what
everyone.
was the lesson you learned?
No, I wanted to know what advice you would give her 5th grade.
And what
self.
was that? What was that advice?
We haven't gotten to that yet.
Yeah.
All
And
right.
We're
then-
still waiting on
And
that.
then he was like, I'm going to tell the dean on you. And I'm like,
For what?
For looking at my pants and me telling him to walk away
Oh,
and don't be a smart aleck. And
So-
he was like, I'm going to tell the dean on you. And I'm like, are you sure about that?
so what advice would you give a 5th grade Ila?
Don't be an idiot. I just said it.
Don't be an idiot.
Yeah. Because I was talking back to an 8th grader,
Oh, so don't talk back to people.
I guess.
Okay.
Is
Dad,
that-
what advice would you give your 5th grade Bert?
It's pretty heavy.
Oh, is it? I want to hear it. Only one soda.
No, I had a big emotional breakdown in 5th grade it's part of what defines me a little bit now. I would tell 5th grade Bert, please stop caring
Like what? About
about
what?
everything.
Yeah.
I cared so much about everything in 5th grade.
About your grades?
No, not that
Uh-huh.
kind of stuff. But like,
Then
like,
about what? It wasn't
who sat
everything.
next to who on the bus?
Oh, social.
Oh,
You would you say you were socially motivated?
I was socially crippled because I was like, I cared so much about like who sat where and who liked me, and like it really it's I think it probably still affects me, and I wish I knew why. I wish I could get to the base of it, but like we went on a big trip down to Miami in 5th grade where I was an actor kid type thing, choir really, but like we were all on the same bus, and I cared so much about where we sat. I cared so much.
Doesn't every middle schooler do that?
I would assume so, but it seemed like no one else gave a shit. But I was the one that cared. and it affected me. And it affected me to the point like we were listening to like music on the bus. I wish I could tell you one song that was big in my 5th grade year, but we were listening to music on the bus, and that music affected me so much that like I just gave a fuck about everything.
Would you say then that would accurately describe someone who feels things more intensely than others? Even from 5th grade? I'd say that same. That's the same.
I care about stuff way too much. I do. I definitely do. I definitely do.
Way too much is evaluation. I never said that. I said you feel things more intensely than other people.
You're right about that. Yes, you are right about that.
Do not devalue that part of who you are.
Do you feel like that's accurate, Ila?
What?
That I feel things too intensely?
I didn't say too intensely.
Say what you said. I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm
more intensely than other people. Because when you say too intensely, that's implying that it's bad. I'm not saying that it's bad. I'm saying that it's more than most people. So that doesn't make it bad. It just makes it different. It makes it different.
Do you think there's something wrong with my brain?
I don't think there's something wrong with your brain.
Do you feel things too intensely or massive? What was it? More intensely?
More intensely than other people.
Do you think you feel things intensely, Ila?
Yeah.
Like, give me an example of something you felt intensely.
Like.
And then I'll give you the real answer.
I could think of something you're intense about. How your clothing feels on your body.
Oh my God. Don't talk
Hold on,
about
we'll stop right there. Stop right there. Let me.
Don't even.
They brought me the socks today that I was like,
I feel the same way, Dad.
I blew up on my sound guy twice because of the way he wanted to put the mic, and I couldn't even help myself. I didn't blow up on him, but like I was like, whoa, what are you doing? And he was like, well, I'm just gonna
clamp this to your nipple. That's okay, right?
No, they wanted to tape it to my chest, and I went, no, you don't tape it to my chest. Put on the shirt. And he was like, well, you take your shirt off a lot. And I was like, yeah, I don't care. You don't tape anything to my chest. And then at one point, they wanted to take the mic and tape it to my chest, like put tape on my chest to hold it. And then when I turned to the left, I would have felt it tug on my shirt. And I fucking lost my shit. And I know these are I understand what a diva I sound like right now, but in a weird way, imagine someone going, hey, can I just put your stapler anywhere on your desk? Or whatever your job is. Imagine if I can just you go, I have a certain way I like to work. And taping a wire to my stomach or can I tell you what he wanted to do today that I feel bad. I'm not losing my shit. I'm not spiraling out on them. I'm just saying like, whoa, what's going on right now? Like, because I'm talking to someone else who's giving me notes and then they're wiring me. They wanted to do it. I mean, only someone who's put a mic on every day for 10 years is going to understand this. They wanted to put the mic on my back and then take the wire, run it over my right shoulder, and then put it onto my thing so that I would be feeling like I had a backpack on the whole time.
Yeah. It's like me.
How is it like you?
Like, if I am going to Universal.
Oh, don't get me fucking started. I know what you're going to say.
If someone's like, you should wear shorts because it's going to be hot and tank top. I'm like, I'm not wearing a tank top. Those don't feel right. And I'm not wearing shorts because those don't feel right. So then I go in pants and long sleeves because that feels right.
Right.
Yeah.
So, and then people are like, why are you wearing pants and long sleeves? And I'm like, because it feels right.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't. I had to wear underwear under a wetsuit.
Why?
Oh, that's disgusting.
Why'd you have to wear underwear under a wetsuit?
Because it wasn't our wetsuit, and I just had to wear underwear.
It was borrowed.
It wasn't my wetsuit, and
so really, it wasn't underwear; it was a barrier, right?
You like that, don't you?
It was a barrier between your hair and their wetsuit.
What else makes you uncomfortable, Ila? When mom just mocks our fucking...
I'm not mocking you. You are misreading everything tonight, I feel like. I'm not mocking you at all.
The underwear was up my ass.
Yeah. I would
And-
imagine a
and
wetsuit's
it
pretty
was
tight.
so uncomfortable.
And I have another thing. Nana and Kaka really like to braid people's hairs in French braids, and I can't do that because it's pulling on different parts of my head, but then it's loose on other parts.
Mm.
You
Like if
can't
you
do
put
that.
your hair in a ponytail, it's like really like
Evenly.
level, and
uniform,
then-
yeah.
And if you just like do it in a French braid, it just doesn't feel right on my head. And like braids don't feel right either.
Mm-hmm. Makes
So-
sense.
I think we both. What we're saying is we both have very big tactile issues.
It's sensory processing is what it is. It's a sensory processing distinction. Like you process your senses process more intensely than other
but not the
people's.
same because she likes those thick cotton.
No, you guys aren't the same.
No, not at all the
No,
same.
you're not the same. But, Georgia and Ila have the same diagnosis with their teeth, but their mouths are totally different. They have completely opposite problems with their mouth, but
You
they
don't
have the
have
same
any
diagnosis.
sensory problems with clothes.
I don't like touching newspaper,
Mom, that's just you.
but I don't like touching newspaper. I don't
What do
like
you
running
need?
your nails down a chalkboard.
Well,
Everyone doesn't
no one
like
likes that,
that.
Liam.
No, but I don't like to do it.
I don't either.
No one likes doing it, Leanne. That's why it's called running your nails down a
No, but some people
chalkboard.
just go, oh, with the sound. I actually don't like to do it either.
But no one likes that. No one likes that.
Any other texture?
I don't like putting my hand in a grinder. Like that bothers me.
That would bother me too.
Like
Oh, see,
hitting
we're
my-
same.
Hitting my teeth with a hammer. That
Same,
really bothers
same.
me.
I don't want that either. No, I
Taking
don't
a
really,
knife inside my nose and popping it out. That bothers me.
I don't really think I have any of those kinds of
Fork in the
issues.
eye. Does that bother you, Ila?
A little.
A little bit. A little bit.
I don't know. I don't have that kind of stuff. I mean, I don't have that kind of stuff.
You
I
ever-
don't like shoes much. I'd much rather not have shoes on. But that's not a sensory thing. I guess it is a sensory thing. My feet just feel like bound up. I'd just rather be barefoot.
I'd rather have them bound very, very, very tightly than loose.
I think you were Japanese in a past life.
What does that mean?
They used to bind their daughter's feet so their feet wouldn't grow.
I saw a video about that and they broke the foot.
Yeah, it breaks the foot as it grows.
Ugh.
So I think you may have been Japanese in a past life. We could go see the healer. She could tell you.
No.
Are you sure?
I'm good. I'm good.
You're good. You're good. Okay, so if that's the advice you would give your 5th grade Ila,
Bert.
what advice? What advice would you give a high school Ila?
I'll
Oh.
start with this.
Make friends before school.
Make friends before school
Not
starts?
school starts, but like before school is important.
I don't know what you mean.
Like
friends
before-
school.
Like makes friends like the first day
Oh.
instead of like
Waiting.
a month or two into school, because then you could ask people
Mhm.
what to do.
Mm-hmm. You can at your high school. I didn't know this when Georgia started there, but you can take like your health class before school starts.
Do you think I want to do that?
I don't think you want to, but this is my point. A lot of girls make friends because they're in class with like 10 or 12 girls. And so, first day of school, they know 10 or 12 girls that they've spent a week or two in health class with, and they've already jump started that friend process. So, if that's something that's important to you, that might be something to think about of your whole 11 weeks of summer.
That's a
You take a
great.
couple
I'll
weeks
tell you right
out
now.
and make some friends.
The greatest thing I ever did at Jesuit High School is I went to summer school. And in summer school was me, Russ Matthews, Scott Bobier, Blake Casper, and Jay Langford. 5 of my best friends
Forever.
forever.
Yeah.
And we had so much fun that summer school. It was a speed reading class. We all had bad reading retention. And regardless of anything, I went into Jesuit and I knew 5 dudes really, really, really well. And it was the best thing I ever did. We would get done. It was a half day. You went from like 8 till 12. And then we go to Blake's house and go skiing. And it was so much fucking fun.
Yeah, that's
And
the thing
Blake
about.
and I hated each other before that.
Mm.
And
That's the thing about summer school is it's a half day. It's usually like 8 to 12.
it's fun as
and then
shit.
you're done. And then you've met these girls that you've spent this time with. That's why I sent Georgia to tennis camp so she could meet girls from because she didn't know anybody. But she broke her arm. So she went like first day or second day, she broke her arm. So she didn't get to finish camp. So she didn't get to know any of those girls.
Yeah.
So I don't know, something to think about. And then you get your health credit out of the way so you can take more art classes or more drama classes or something else. That's one whole semester that you can take something you're interested in instead of health.
Okay.
That's something to think about.
And not yet, though.
No, we don't have to think about it yet. But
Okay.
if your concern is making friends as soon as possible, that would be a great way to jumpstart that process. That's a really great piece of advice to give your high school self because you're going to a school where you don't know one other person that's coming in, just like Georgia. Georgia knew one person and she didn't know her very well. And they've actually become pretty good friends now, but she didn't know anybody. It's very brave to say, I'm going to go to this school because I like the school and I don't know a single person. That's really brave. Most people want to go where their friends are going, but you want to go to a school that you feel like would be the best place for you to learn and to make friends. And that's amazing. That's really brave.
What advice would I give my high school self?
Yeah.
None.
None?
I did.
You
I
did
did.
it
I did it.
perfectly?
I actually did high school perfectly.
Perfectly.
I'm not even joking. I had a very big group of friends that I was close with, every single one of them. I didn't drink in high school. I mean, I tried booze a couple times, but I was not a drinker. I was focused on sports.
Mm-hmm.
And I left high school and I said to myself, I actually said to myself my freshman year of college, I remember going down Tennessee Street going, I think I actually did high school perfectly and I'm comfortable with leaving it. Like I'm comfortable. I have no regrets.
Right.
I'm comfortable leaving it behind. So funny. I thought that today when I thought metaphysically, I thought if I only get a month left in this body, like say I have a month left to live, I would be like, man, I took this body a lot of different places. I did a lot with this body. This body's done a lot. Like if this is my space suit and I get another one after this, I'd be like, dude, good luck rocking that body the way I did it.
So do you feel the same way about your mind?
What do you mean?
That you've used your mind, you've rocked your mind or your spirit? Maybe yes. I'm just asking the question.
I think I have. I think I've done exceptional with everything. The small amount of means I've been given with my intelligence and my looks and my body and whatever I've gotten given, I've had so much fucking fun with it.
That's great.
And
That's
then
a great way to feel.
I walked away from college. I walked away from high school. I walked away from Berkeley when I was at Berkeley and I went to Jesuit. And
Berkeley, not Berkeley, California.
Berkeley Prep is
Berkeley
where I went to school, grade school.
in Tampa.
And I said, I'm done with that. I'm going to the next level. And I went to Jesuit and I had a fucking blast. And then I went to Florida State. I thought there was no way Florida State's going to be better than Jesuit. And then Rolling Stone magazine discovered me, called me the number one party animal in the country. And I went, well, I'm ready to leave. I'm done with Florida State. And then I moved to New York and I thought, the only way I leave here is if I get a TV show and I go to LA and I got a TV show, I moved to LA. And I moved to LA. I remember saying like the only time I've ever felt less than in my hopes and dreams was I had a TV show and I just thought, this is it. Like this is everything you work for. It was the X show and I just was like, And then I had money. I had everything I ever wanted in life. I was listening to hip hop. I was in a Jason Williams jersey. I was on Franklin in a expedition. It was winter, my favorite time in this city. And then cut to Mom and I I just gave birth to Georgia. We're broke. Mom's got a handful of dollar bills and asked me to go get milk at Ralph's. And I grabbed my skateboard and I get a gallon of milk and a 40 of beer. And I skateboard down Detroit Street with a gallon of milk and a 40 of beer. And I was the happiest I've ever been. And that's all the money we had. I was one of the, and I remember I got there and you said, don't ever lose what is that guy that skateboarded down that street.
Yeah.
I guess you had been on the balcony or whatever. And you would see me skateboarding down the street. And I was just so happy. I was listening to music and do you remember that?
Yes, I do.
I don't.
You weren't here.
I
You weren't
know.
alive.
That's
I'd
when
have
you
just
were
been
the
born.
most happiest.
Oh, no, no, he just said he's the happiest he ever was now. So I think he's been happy his whole life.
Last night when we were all in the car, I was giggling so hard. We're having a great spot in our family right now.
Yeah, we are. We've had a great spot for a while, I think. I think you're a happy soul, and that's who you've been your whole life, is a happy soul.
Do you think
Isla
you're a happy
Kreischer is
soul?
a happy soul.
Do you
Yes.
think Isla Kreischer is a happy soul?
She showed up here smiling ear to ear and has been smiling every day her life. She gets up rough, but about 30 minutes later,
Really rough.
she's good. You're a happy person, and that's a gift. That's a gift from God, because he gave you your disposition and you've kept it intact, and you should always be a happy person if you can, because it makes life so much easier. And you don't sweat the small stuff as much as people who are maybe more melancholy.
Do you think you're a happy soul?
I think I am a happy soul. I think I'm a happy soul that lived in unhappiness for a long time. And it took a long time for me to get out from under the cloud of unhappiness to be a happy soul. I think I am happy. Do you not think I'm a happy soul?
I didn't say anything. Do you think Mom's a happy soul?
I think I'm happy.
Okay.
Okay. Do you not think I'm a happy soul?
I do.
Oh, you can tell me.
No, we
online
all
what
do.
you
We all
think.
do. No, you're a happy soul. You agree. We agree.
Okay.
I'm joking.
Okay.
That was a little bit of a bit. No, I think you are.
I'm
I think
definitely not
you-
melancholy. I'm not
No,
a like
no. But you're not-
melancholy person.
You are a little bit of a complex soul, I would say.
Okay.
Whereas your silliness is always there, but there is a heaviness to you that I think
Oh, that's from my childhood.
it is, and that shows up, and I think that anyone who knows you can look past it immediately, but like there is a heaviness to you. There really is, and that I don't think Isla's ever experienced in her life. George has never experienced in her life, and I've never experienced in my life, and I'm grateful none of us have felt that.
Yes, I am grateful for that too.
But that
Yeah.
heaviness is real, and it's not to say that to discount it discounts who you are.
Yes, that's right. No, that's very true. I think you're right about that. I think I was a happy soul that through circumstances became very unhappy. And then now I'm happy, but I still have a backpack full of bullshit.
You have a big backpack full of bullshit,
Yeah. So
and
I
it
think that's
doesn't
pretty valid.
doesn't leave anytime soon.
It doesn't
think-
leave anytime soon.
I think you're working through it in
Oh, I think it takes a lifetime to work through all that stuff.
yeah.
I think it takes
with
your
your
whole life.
fucking with your
My trainer.
with trainer, and I think I would say very few people. I don't know the answer to that, but like not a ton of people I know get as emotional about training as you can, and you have been, and I think that is real. And to ignore that,
Yes, it is real. It is real. That's very true. You
what
know,
happens for me and when I work out is I throw up.
no, I'm not throwing up,
But
but I'm
my
working
wor-
really hard. It hurts a
Yeah.
lot. You know, my dad said to me the other day, I asked him, I said, I remember being very serious as a child. And he went, oh, you were very serious. Because I would like to think myself a silly child, but when I really think about how I was as a kid, I was serious. And I mean, like, serious about everything. If we were going camping, that was fucking, we were camping. If we were going water skiing, I was fucking water skiing. We were not, there was no like, oh, we'll do whatever. Everything was really intense. Like you feel things more intensely than other people. I think I behaved very intensely when I was a kid. And I think some of that intensity was about not being able to deal with my emotions that I was having from my childhood. And so some of that intensity is still with me. I get very intense sometimes about things that maybe it doesn't necessarily need to be intense.
Well, I think one of the perfect examples is, and I don't mean this shitty, but I think you'll, and I hope you understand it. And you may not go I get it totally right now, but like I was explaining to Andrew today in the car, I was explaining sometimes Isla and I can team up on you in Georgia with our personalities.
Yep.
And I was saying a perfect example is when we speak French, when we play Rumacube.
Yep.
And that you and Georgia, as hard as it makes Isla and I laugh, you and Georgia do not find it funny at all.
Right.
And but
because we want to play to us, playing the game is more important than what's important to you guys, which is the fun and the silly.
what makes
is-
us
is
the
more
only
important.
reason we're playing the game is to laugh.
Right.
Like the numbers
And
don't
I'm
matter.
playing the
Winning,
game to play the fucking game. I
winning-
want to play the game. I don't
Yeah.
need to win or lose, but I want to play the game
See,
legitimately.
Isla and I
That's the
don't
way
care
I-
if we win or lose. Legit, the joke to us is the more mad you and Georgia get, the harder it makes us laugh.
Uh-huh.
And that and I was trying to explain that to Andrew today on the car to the set, and he was like, wait, what do you mean? And I was like, at some points, it's like especially if they've forgotten that we're talking French, or not even French. It's not even fucking French. It's the most racist French accent. It's just, and
And it's very loud.
but it makes us, and that is the silliness I talk about. Is like, it is. I think it's, you got to admit this, Ila. It's hard to get Georgia to get as silly as we can get.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And-
she's not as silly, no.
She's not as silly. She's very like serious.
Yeah.
But I am very serious. I am very, very serious. I've taken obviously I'm like the most fucked up person in our family. I'm a very serious person.
Sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you're serious.
How many families do you think that are listening to this go, oh, you're explaining my family right now?
I think quite a few. I know a lot of people that email say, I have an Isla and a Georgia. I'm a Leanne.
Oh,
My wife's a Bert.
everyone says, I have an island in Georgia.
Yeah.
I'm a Leanne, and
Yeah.
my husband or my wife is a
Well,
Bert.
I've been saying that for years. I've said forever there's a Bert and Leanne in every relationship. And you can eyeball the couple and go, that's the Bert and that's the Leanne. Like we've talked about that a million times. Sandy is Bert, Tom is Leanne, right? Stephen is Bert, Kathy is Leanne.
Christina and Tom,
Christina is Bert, Tom is
is
Leanne. Yeah.
without a doubt.
There's one in that you can break it down
And he
for everything.
explains his two kids, and it's a Isla in Georgia.
Yeah, it's
There's-
the
there's-
older is Georgia, the younger is Isla.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's so you can break it down that way. I've never met a couple that had two Berts or two Leannes.
They don't work.
They just don't work. Although I just thought of one couple that may have two Leannes.
Who?
Colleen and Jeff. Who's the Bert in that couple? Jeff?
No, hold on. Not even fucking remotely.
Not Jeff?
No, Jeff's the Leanne. Remember, he got upset that I shit at his house.
I would never get upset if someone shit at my house.
Well, I guess I broke his toilet, so he got upset that I shit at his house on his Christmas party. He was like, "Who shits at someone's house?" I was like, "Why the fuck do you have toilets?"
Yeah.
I think Colleen thought it was funny,
Colleen did think it was funny.
but Jeff was like legit upset that I broke his toilet because I
Well,
shit at
that's
his house.
because you break a toilet.
But all I did was put shit in it the way a toilet should be handled.
How did it break?
Because he is too uptight.
Volume,
He
Ida,
doesn't shit
volume.
in toilets. He shits in his hands, baby, and then puts
He
it.
does not. That's disgusting.
No, Dad.
Spread that at school.
No.
Hey, Dad, how did you break his toilet? Did this
Baby,
toilet?
I had just come back from Vietnam, and I had some bowel issues, and I took a big shit in the toilet, and I broke his toilet.
How do you break a toilet by pooping?
Isla,
Did you clog it, or did
I guess
the
I
toilet
clogged it. Maybe it was
seat
too much
break?
toilet paper. Maybe it was like, maybe they have weak ass plumbing lines. Who knows? I broke his toilet. He was upset. His wife thought it was funny, or maybe she just pandered. But regardless, there's someone that's into confrontation. There's someone that's not into confrontation in every relationship.
That's pretty accurate.
I am not into confrontation. That's why mom's
well,
dealing with
if
the
you
house.
use that formula, then Kathy is Bert.
Kathy is not into confrontation.
That's what I mean. But I think Kathy's like me and Steven's like
Oh,
you.
No.
You think Kathy's like you
100%.
and Steven's like me?
Yeah.
Yeah, by the way, there's no
Really?
frame of reference. Oh, yeah, no, they know who Kathy and Steven are.
Yes, they do.
Yeah, Kathy is like me. Steven is like you.
Interesting.
100%.
I would have thought it opposite.
I am like Lynn. Eric's like you.
Yes, that's true.
No.
Yes, that's true.
No.
That's absolutely true.
100%.
100% true. Okay, I have another question.
Shoot.
What advice, if any, would you give Georgia about her sister joining her at high school next year?
Okay.
Okay, Dad, stop.
Okay.
Don't be a butthole.
Don't be a butthole.
Yeah.
How would she be a butthole?
Be like, cause she like, like,
No one can see
No.
you,
like
so you have to describe what you're talking about.
When
Use your words.
we were out.
Yeah.
She would go and like.
Would she bully you?
No, she wouldn't bully me, but like
She would turn into a character when she saw you. It
yeah,
wasn't Georgia going, "Hey, Ila,
it
love
was-
you." It was like
It was like yuck, yuck, yuck.
Yeah, it was
like
like
that.
it was like dope, dope, dope. Sip, lock, blip, oh, catch it, flunk. Like
Yeah,
it's
and then she would be like a character, and she'd be like, "Hi, Ila," and then all of her friends, because they know me, they'd be like, "Hi," and I wouldn't want that. I don't want to be
Okay.
the person with the sister.
You just want to be her sister?
Yeah.
Do you not want her to talk to you when you're at school together?
No,
You don't?
no,
What if you can't find a classroom?
No,
and you run into
Mom!
Georgia and you go, "Hey, George, where's Mr.
no,
So-and-so's
that's
class?"
not what I meant.
Okay.
I,
said-
I know what she means.
Do you not want her to talk to me? No, I do want her to talk to me.
But be
Yeah.
real.
But like, I just don't want her to be like the cool sister, and I'm the one that has problems.
Ah.
I
you
don't
mean like
want
you mean
that.
like do you want her you don't is what I'm saying is like if you saw her, she'd be like, "Hey, what's up? How's everything going?" Like connect with you, as opposed to like, "Ila, what up, kiddo? High five, dog." Like that person.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'd rather
Good
the other
advice.
one.
It's funny because I have the same issues with people on my podcast. Is people my biggest problem I've ever had with entertainment and where it's going is people who don't know what their voice is.
Right.
And it's a problem I have sometimes with my daughters is I am always looking for my voice as a comic.
Mm-hmm.
But one of the things I will say is that me and my friends that have podcasts and that do podcasts and my wife are always looking to discover their voice and always trying to find their authentic voice. Is that right, Ila? Like an authentic voice. It's like when you hang out with Georgia and we're all watching My Big Fat Gypsy Wedding and we're all busting balls and laughing in the living room, that's the person you want to talk to in the hallway.
Yeah, not the. That's totally lit.
But that's Ila. That's the most
I understand what she's
accurate
saying.
thing I've ever heard because I've had those people on my podcast and on my cooking show, and they're inauthentic, and you don't care about them. I don't care about them personally. I don't care one bit about them. And
Authenticity and inauthenticity reek both ways.
a lot of people discover their personalities off of their favorite movie. So they'll see a movie, they don't know who they are. They'll go, "God damn, Borat's funny," or "Ace Ventura's funny," and then that is their personality or a derivative of it for the rest of their lives.
Right.
And there's like,
And that's
You go-
too bad because
you
then
go,
they never get the beauty of discovering who they really
you
are.
open a second bottle of wine, and they go, "Alrighty then," and it's not the same way, but that's what they're doing.
Right.
Or you walk into the room and they're like, "All right, okay," or doing whatever Borat impression, and you're like, it's the hardest part of being a comedian. And it's the hardest part of being a human. It's more hard if you're just a human, I think, in my opinion, is finding out your authentic voice of like, who are you? You're not just the books you read. You're not just the documentary you saw. Who are you?
Mm-hmm. That's very true. It is
And
hard to find
what
that
you're
out.
asking of Georgia, by the way, is fucking really uphill because it's very hard. I know grown adults that are millionaires that don't know who the fuck they are at all. Ila, some of my best friends, not some of my best friends all know who the fuck they are. Let me rephrase that. Some of the top comics in this world do not have an authentic voice.
Well,
And by the way, your dad doesn't too at times. I don't. No. Just to be fair, it's like sometimes you'll come up with a funny thought and then you'll say it a few times and then go, is that me or is that someone I've heard before? So you're asking a big battle for Georgia to deal with, but it's not an unfair one. You're right in that.
well, I don't want anyone to think that Georgia walks around as this fakey make-believe person all the time, because she doesn't. She doesn't. But she does have moments, especially in front of her friends, where she's, kind of showing off in front of her friends,
Baby,
showing off in front of her peers.
All of us in 9th grade did that.
Yes,
All
of course.
of us.
That's my point. Is
Yeah.
I don't want anybody to think that
My dad.
I don't want anyone to think that we as a family think that Georgia is this person who walks around inauthentic. She doesn't.
Ty Rodriguez's dad at Beach Week 9th grade. Ty Rodriguez's dad, Ty kept calling his dad dude. And his dad's this old Cuban guy, and he goes, hey, motherfucker, I'm not dude. I'm your fucking dad. Say that one more time and I beat the fuck out of you in front of your friends and hold you down and kiss you on the lips.
Oh, my
His
God.
Dad, Ty Rodriguez's dad is one of the funniest motherfuckers. But, like, there's an inauthenticity when you birth a person and you see them grow and that you witness.
Mm-hmm.
It's why my dad can't watch me do stand-up. It's why my dad doesn't listen to my podcast. Because I'm sure all he sees is the inauthenticity. I see it in Cotty when she says hi to strangers.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, 100%. But I see it because I know her so well.
Right.
Like I see Cotty, for those of you listening, is my youngest sister. When I see her, she does this smile that is so fucking fake. That is a fake Cotty smile. Like, hi. Like it's, the smile I'm talking. You know what I'm talking about? And I go,
like, hi.
hey, and you're just like, what the
tilts
fuck?
her head and she's like, oh my God, hi.
No, the other, yeah, right. That's it, Ila. That's it. By the way, the other side of the fence is Annie, who just throws up straight up bitch face and goes, like almost like I give two fucks about this moment. Like you got to find a middle ground.
Middle ground is good. That moderation thing, whatever. So, what piece of advice do you have? Do you think Georgia would have for you going into high school?
Don't make the wrong kind of friends.
Uh-oh.
Oh, I think that's a really good piece of advice.
Oh,
Wait, what?
You don't think Georgia would give her that piece of advice?
I don't know. I don't know what Georgia. That's not the advice I would give her.
Well, I didn't
What
ask her what
advice?
she thought you would give her. I asked her what she thought her sister would give her.
I think
You can give her your advice next, but I
No,
asked her
no,
what.
no.
No, I want her to get your advice.
What advice Georgia would give her?
Yeah.
Don't make the wrong kind of friends.
I just said that, Dad.
No, I was repeating what you said.
Dad.
It sounded like you were saying it as if it was your original thought. It did come across like that.
All right, whatever.
That's pretty funny.
Don't go on your phone.
I'm looking to see if we're.
So then, Dad, what advice would you give Ila about going into high school next year?
What advice would I give Ila going into high school? I mean, honestly, don't make the wrong kind of friends.
Dad.
You're such a jerk. You know what I would say to you about high school?
I bet I can tell you exactly what you say.
Okay, tell me.
Don't make the wrong kind of friends.
That's not it. I was going to say, enjoy yourself. To enjoy yourself. To try to enjoy your classes, even the ones that you don't like.
I do that already.
And enjoy your classes you do like even more. Enjoy your friends. And participate like you do with yearbook. Find a place like that at your new school where you can really feel like you're a part of something. Because feeling like you're a part of something is dependent upon you. It's really not dependent upon someone else going, hey, come over here. It's really dependent upon you going, hey, can I come over here?
I did
A
that.
lot of times. What are you doing?
I guess Ila sent a video to Nana. It just showed up on my phone.
Oh yeah, the squirrel taking the dog toy.
The dog toy. Got
Yeah.
it.
But like I did that in 7th grade.
Enjoyed yourself?
No, I did the asking if I could sit with people.
That's awesome. And you know what?
And now I'm friends with them now, and I get to sit with them every day. So
that's awesome.
paid off.
So then you know how to do that. But I think the takeaway, in my opinion, from you in middle school is you really, about April in 7th grade, really started wanting to learn. And your grades just have been almost all A's, not just a couple B's here and there, ever since you decided you wanted to learn.
Mm-hmm.
So your entire life, for your whole life, you're going to have to learn. If you get a new job, you have to learn. You have a new friend, you have to learn. You move to a new city, you have to learn. So enjoying or figuring out how to enjoy learning is a really important skill to have for your whole life. Even when you're old and you move to a retirement community and you have to learn everybody's name and learn the schedule and learn what you're supposed to be doing next. It's all about learning your whole life. So if you can figure out a way to enjoy learning, it makes life much more enjoyable. And you did that in 7th grade. I can tell a big difference in how you feel about school.
It went to D's and F's too.
It did. It did. And it's because for whatever reason you decided to enjoy learning. So
Because I saw a movie.
because you saw a movie?
Yeah, and it was like,
what movie?
I don't remember.
What was it about?
It was about school. I think it was a documentary.
Did you see it at school?
No.
You saw it home?
Yeah.
Wonder what it was.
I don't know. But it was about how people learn and how there are different types of learning and how to like know which type. Like they talked about visual learning. And that type of stuff. And I was like, that's cool. I want to try it. And I liked it.
Oh, did that kind of make sense to you?
Yeah.
Oh, that's good. Is it the documentary we watched together about Bryce Howard?
I don't remember.
About the redhead that's an actress. And she was talking about how she didn't learn like everybody else and her parents put her in a special school because they figured out she was a visual learner. Is that the documentary?
No.
No? I wonder what it was. That's interesting. That's really cool that something kind of made a light bulb go off a little bit where you went, oh, hold on a minute. That makes sense to me. Now I'm going to try some of that. That's really cool.
Was it maybe My Big Fat Gypsy Wedding when you saw those morons and you were like, I'm better than them. I can do better.
Maybe.
What?
When people ran over each other at a wedding?
Romnichel.
Oh, My Big Fat Gypsy Wedding.
What did I say?
My Big Fat American Gypsy Wedding. I thought you said Greek. My Big Fat Greek Wedding.
Maybe I did.
But maybe I missed.
How long are we going, Holston? I think we should really button this up with something really poignant.
Okay.
Can I start the process?
Sure.
I feel like we started off very aggro.
Aggressive.
Yeah.
You two were arguing.
Yeah. You thought that was
I
arguing?
can be very frustrating to be married to, Ila. I am very self-centered, very self-focused. And I come into a lot of situations like that.
Can we get off this topic?
No.
Dad's wrapping up the podcast with something poignant.
Oh.
You missed that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
The thing I would impart to you, the same way that we're alike and we're different, the same way that your mom is alike and different, is I am, and Mom will say this, very self-correcting.
Yes, he is.
And I came in very hot. I think I had a rough phone call.
Yes.
And I was still bothered by that. And I wasn't hearing Bert was wrong in a positive way.
Got it. That makes sense.
Yeah?
Yeah.
And I was eating chicken in an aggressive manner.
That is an accurate statement. Accurate statement. You were eating it like a caveman who had been hunting for days. You were eating chicken in an aggressive manner. Very true.
And I said to Mom, hey, grab a bottle of wine. Let's do this podcast.
No, what you said was, how about a glass of wine? And I went, okay.
This
like
is all
I'm a
coming,
PA.
This is all coming. That is 100% accurate because at one point I saw I saw myself today on set say, "I need a red eye." I just yelled it out loud. I said, but I knew for a fact that someone
Would show up with a red eye.
will know that it's more important for them to find me than for me to disappear and go get a coffee.
Right.
Like if I leave set and go get a coffee,
Now they're looking for you.
and then now we've pushed production by a full hour
Right.
for the people that have to walk away from set to go find me. I learned that the very first show I ever did. I said, I'm never going to ask anyone to get my coffee. And the guy goes, I would rather know where you are and have a coffee brought to you. I've hired a person for that so that I know where you are so that when we're ready to shoot, we can start shooting. And then your coffee can show up late if you're cool with that. And I was like, oh yeah, 100%. And today I caught myself saying, I need a red eye, just out loud. And then I said, where's my red eye? And someone was like, oh, did you need a red eye? And I'm like, oh my God, I'm turning into that fucking guy. Just going like, where's my drink? And I did it to you tonight. I was like, how about a glass of wine?
You did, and I looked at you and you went, I saw that delayed look, and I was like, I'm just gonna keep walking.
It's a mindset you get caught into where you're on set and you understand that
It is. I knew that you had just had this phone call. I was on the phone call too. So I understood your state of mind.
That phone call.
Yeah.
where we waved you off and like leave the room right now.
Oh, Isla kept showing up with my blouse in her mouth. They're trying to show me this is your wardrobe, and I'm like,
we can't talk
bad
about the phone
timing,
call,
bad
everybody,
timing.
but suffice to say it was a rough phone call.
It was a rough phone call, yeah.
And I just gotten off set, so I'm like in this like production mode where I'm like, how about a glass of wine?
And you were like this close to me. You were in my face, not in my face, but right next to me. How about a glass of wine? And I was like,
Because
okay.
but in fairness, and I know no one will ever take this fair, and I'm understand that. I understand the ridicule I deserve, but I was going in to do your podcast, and I was in my brain going, how about a glass of wine?
I was my own PA for my own podcast. I shifted.
I didn't realize.
You're a guest on the show that I star in.
Yeah.
So you talk to the star of the show.
How about
like
a glass of wine? How about a glass of wine? Isla, how far out are we? What's your wardrobe look like?
Huh?
And then I came in here and it was super tight up front, but I think it was tight up front because of my energy. The thing I say about self-correcting, Isla, and the reason I'm bringing this up is that realize that sometimes at school your sister will be in production mode where she doesn't mean it the way she means it, but that's how it comes out. But she loves you. Just like I love mom, and sometimes shit comes out sideways, as in the beginning of this podcast. But that's part of family. It's like family is like, I'm not saying my family's done this right, but like family is allowing yourself to fuck up every now and then self-correcting. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. How does poop go up sideways? It's a tube.
If you shit sideways, it's gonna hurt so bad.
It's going to tear things. Pretty bad.
It's coming out sideways.
Does that mean like horizontal?
Yeah, it would go out horizontal as opposed to vertical, which actually it goes out diagonally.
I'm
from
so
the angle of your
confused.
butt.
You guys are
I'm
grossing
not
me out right
talking-
now.
I mean, if you want to be technical about it.
I don't.
Well, that was very nice of you to say, Bert. Thank you very much.
I was really shitty coming in. I know that you know what's going on.
I do know what's going on. I think what's hard in the moment is that you don't really believe that I know that's going on, or really believe when I say I'm really not upset. I don't think you believe me ever. Except you always think I'm upset. And then the more you go, I know you're upset, then I start getting upset. And I go, I'm fucking not upset. But now I'm upset because you keep telling me how I feel and I don't feel upset.
Mom is super self-correcting. When we went on that ride last night, she did not want to go on that ride.
No.
And then when we came home, she pulled me aside. She said, that was really cool. I'm glad we did that.
And I'm sorry I was stinky.
Don't say stinky.
But that's my word.
Said stinky.
Stinky's my word, so is turkey. I got those two words are mine. So on my tombstone, you can write stinky turkey.
What did Miss Pat said today?
What?
I said, she goes, oh, Bert, you beat the hell out of this Negro. And I said, no one put that on my tombstone. Miss Pat is the greatest goddamn gift to this world.
She is the
And
greatest.
she loves these
That's
girls so much.
Funny because when we podcasted about her book, that's what Kirsten said, those words. She is a gift to this world. She is. She's a gift to this world.
She is such a special person.
She is.
What she said, she goes, when Ila walked up yesterday on set, and she goes, I'm your N-word auntie
Yeah.
to Ila, and Ila started laughing hysterically. Do you remember that?
She said,
Don't
I'm
get
gonna
ready for the bleep button. What did Miss Pat say to you?
to like, I'm gonna beat up any white girl that is mean to you, and I won't be going to jail.
That's so your daddy doesn't go to jail.
Yeah.
I've already been to jail. That's what she said.
Mhm.
And I'll beat up any white girl that messes with you. That's what she said.
Miss Pat's a really special
She
person.
has an enormous heart.
One day you
an
read her
enormous
book, Ila, and
I
you'll be in
don't
college. You read her book,
You can
And-
listen to her read it. She reads her own audiobook.
and you'll go, wow, I knew that person. It's an amazing book.
It is.
Not the best swimmer. I'll say that right now.
I wouldn't imagine so, no.
I almost drowned with her in the water.
Crazy. So, Ila, anything else any poignant ending you would like to this podcast?
Yes, I
Yes.
have the best eyelashes out of us three.
Yes, you do.
No, you don't. Not compared
Dad.
to my lucky eyelash.
Dad.
But that's
might-
a one-off.
Old Chernobyl
She's
over
talking
there.
about
The flock, the peacock of my eyes.
the fullness of her full
The
lash.
peacock of your eyes.
Yeah, I have the bottom and top lash.
I have crap lashes, so you're lucky.
Mom's got nothing.
I don't know where you got those
Mom
things.
picks
but
them
they
out of
do
her
not come
face.
from me. I don't pick them out of my face.
It's a nervous habit.
I don't
you do
have
while you're
enough.
sleeping. When you're sleeping, you pick
Do
them out.
not pick them out of my
Your
face. I don't
eyelashes and your
move
eyebrows.
when I'm asleep. I wake up in the same spot I fell asleep in because clearly I'm a Mormon.
I woke
Right?
up the other night
said.
and my pillows were on the ground and my blanket was too.
Oh,
And half of my sheet was on top of me.
Half of my sheet was on top
I
of
was
me.
so confused and I woke up in the sweat of the moment.
That would be very confusing. So your poignant end to this podcast is you have better eyelashes than the two of us. Anything else?
Yeah.
Did you enjoy it?
My eyelashes, yes.
No, the podcast. Is there anything that you wanted to talk about that we didn't?
Yeah, why is Georgia still inside?
Well, she had a lot of homework. She didn't get out of softball till 7, and she was going to do the podcast. And she said, I'm going to just bring my homework and do my homework on the podcast. And I was like, I don't know if that's effective
Interesting.
for either item. I think that's an ineffective podcast and an ineffective doing of homework. So I don't know about that. I was like, so do your homework and come out when you're done. So maybe she either didn't want to be on the podcast, or maybe she's still doing her homework. Maybe she fell asleep. You know, the first week back to school after a long break is always hard because you guys were staying up till midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning. And then all of a sudden, bam, you're, in bed at 10 and up at 6.
Because I wake up at 2.
Well, that's you.
But
How about this? Can I just, since I'm the professional podcaster here,
Yes.
can I bookend this podcast?
Well, I think you already did.
I'll do it again.
Okay, go ahead.
This podcast started very honest. Here's the deal. I think if you put things on record, if you record it, people are somewhat accountable.
Yeah.
So I think sometimes it's not a bad idea to record a family podcast and talk about stuff.
And then do you listen to it again?
Maybe.
Maybe.
But
That'd be
but
interesting.
it's it's interesting. I came in here with very negative energy,
Mhm.
and I think Leanne was. I think you were very frustrated with me, and Ila was put in the middle of it.
Yeah.
And I think that if you're going to have any takeaway from this podcast, and maybe we should talk about this in the intro,
Uh-huh.
is that sometimes when you're going through a family thing, record it so that everyone can have playback and listen to how they behaved. And I know for a fact that in a part of this podcast, I thought I'm being pretty shitty right now. Like in my head.
Yeah.
So maybe like, I don't know. Look, I'm not a therapist. I'm not Dr. Phil, but like try that out. If you're going through some shit with your family and go,
It'd be
hey,
an interesting experiment.
let's do an audio recording of what we're going through right now. And then if you want, we can all listen to it and see how we behaved. Because I know for a fact it made me a lot more accountable at the end where I said, you know what? I was shitty. I was being a dick. I'm going through some stuff.
Right.
When you listen to your family members and you listen to them say stuff, you go, oh, I am being an asshole. Maybe a family podcast once a week that you guys listen to as a family is not a bad thing.
That's not a bad thing. That's a great idea. You know,
If you did a podcast, I didn't mean to cut you off.
ahead.
I apologize.
Go ahead.
No, but if you did a podcast once a week with your family on Sundays, right? Sunday night, family gets together, you have dinner, you do a podcast, you talk for 30 minutes, right? And then the required listening is that your family listens to it at some point
Over the week.
Uh-huh. And then you come back to on Sunday and look, maybe it's just something you do private where you just post it. What'll happen is your kids will hear how they're talking to you.
Yeah.
You'll hear how you're talking to your spouse
Or your kids.
or your kids.
How they're talking to each other.
All I'll say is that this podcast that I was not certain about at the beginning, I feel like was a very valuable tool in my accountability.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
You know, we did a podcast called Rules of Engagement. And I wonder, I'll ask Kristen what she thinks about that as not as a rule of engagement, but as a tool. Because, you know, in that podcast, she was saying, sit down when you're in a non-confrontational space and say, how are we going to fight? No cursing, no defamation of character. The person talking gets to express themselves fully before anyone else speaks. What are they?
It allows a deflation. I'm sorry, Ali, go ahead.
That doesn't happen.
Hey, spin the mic to your face.
That doesn't happen.
What doesn't happen? I don't defame your character.
No, like the not interrupting people when they're talking.
Well, we've never as a family set our rules of engagement. We've never sat down, the four of us, and said, okay, when we have a confrontation, how does it work? What does it look like? Because we just never have. So that was her suggestion, is that you do that. And then
I'm not suggesting you get into a fight and then throw on the microphones. What I'm suggesting is
no, I don't think that's
sitting
it
on
either.
Like a family podcast, sitting on a Sunday and hashing out stuff that you guys did throughout the week, and knowing that because you are recording it, you will be accountable for it.
It's kind of like a family journal. And then if a confrontation is part of that journal, it is. And if it's not, it's not.
Give me my fucking
It's
phone.
kind of interesting. I like that idea.
It's not a bad idea, and it kind of
sets
like,
limits.
Sets limits. Well, the rules of engagement sets limits, but I think Dad's just talking about something a little more free flowing. That then it makes you aware of what you're saying and how you're saying it. Because
like mom could
there's a
go,
potential for other people to hear it.
I'm uncomfortable with no one flushing the toilets.
Uncomfortable? I hate it.
I love it.
Why?
For me, it's more like a deep dive thing.
Yeah.
Well, I think, you know, Bert, you and I used to do the thing called the summit
We've done it.
a bunch in our lives. The
Yeah.
summit?
Poop dive.
We haven't done it in a while.
Yeah, we did it.
We
recently.
did?
Yeah, recently.
We had a summit?
Yeah, we did.
Did we just not call it the summit?
No, we did. Within the year.
Okay. But that might be something interesting to record so you could go back and listen to it later, like 6 months later.
Not to share publicly, but
no,
like
not to
just-
share publicly for yourself.
Yeah.
To go back and go, what did we discuss in that summit? A summit, or what we do for a summit, is we sit down and talk about our goals and what's going on in life and any problems we might have, and kind of a neutral space. Would that be accurate description?
I think so. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I thought this was a cool podcast.
It's a very cool
It's a
podcast.
departure from my usual format
The
or
questions
whatever.
were great at the end towards Ila, and the fact that I felt like I needed to answer them as well. It was great. I think this was look, if I'm a podcast fan, I love the fact that we were all rolled in kind of fighting and then came out to a place of where we are. I think that is the podcast I want to listen to personally.
Right, because it's honest. That's the truth. We came in
No one wants to
exactly
hear
where we
fucking
were.
Sarah Blakely. No, I'm not
Who's
shitting on Sarah
that?
Blakely. She go to the start of Spanx. But like her and that guy Jesse, everything is positive. Everything's like awesome. We're running triathlons and marathons and doing new things. I wish I could sit with her and go, I want to see the broken parts. That's the part that's interesting.
Yeah, right.
I mean, I
Well,
think she's so inspirational, and so is her husband. They're really, really, really fascinating, inspirational people. But I don't give a fuck about the cult of personality. Like, and that's what
Well,
they're
that's
missing.
just not your thing. That's
It's not
somebody
my
else's
thing. It's not my thing.
That's
It's
somebody
not-
else's thing.
It
But
is, and I'll tell you what. And I'll be fair about that. Is that I heard them on that podcast you recommended to me, the
I don't know which one.
the first How I Built This.
Oh no, you recommended that to me.
I heard them on. I heard her. I think
Yes.
she's the one with the business
Yeah.
senses, and I heard her on How I Built This. It was fucking amazing,
Yeah.
but not everything is a fairy tale. That's what everyone needs to know in life. Is not everything's a fairy tale.
No, that's
You get the
that's
one
true.
fairy tale, but everything else is a struggle.
And the fairy tale's a struggle.
Her fairy tale was a struggle.
Yeah,
Her fairy
it
tale
was.
was a great struggle.
It was.
She was so fair about that, but then all of a sudden, I think you get married to the fairy tale of
No,
it.
I think it happens when people get very prosperous, is they forget, certain things like it's such a big deal that I can't make my trainer today. Oh my God. Well, guess what? 90% of the people on this planet don't have a trainer because they can't afford one. So really, is it that big of a deal? No.
Yeah.
So I think once you get into a place where you're affording a certain lifestyle, like being able to be a triathlete or being able to travel the world,
Whatever
and
they do, it's
the
that
problems
stuff. It's
they
like,
talk about.
I think they hire like I'm not certain, but I think they hire like very expensive trainers to live with them and stuff. And
it's a different life than most people can relate to.
but I think they find that to be their struggle, and I'm so badly I want to go get back to the thing that got you to the fight was the thing I loved.
Right. But maybe she's moved past that. Maybe she's
She
moved
has.
through it
I'm
and
sure
is
she
in a
has.
different
I
phase,
bet
and that's
she's inspiring
wonderful.
people on a totally different level.
Totally, that's great.
I just am at a person at my level going, I want to see new struggle. I want to see more honesty. That's my whole thing. It's the same thing with Ila. I'll tell you right now, I swear to God on my children's lives, it's the same thing Ila's saying when Georgia walks down and goes, "What up, yo?" That is what's happening on social media. And
Oh yeah, no shit.
Ila wants Sarah Blakely to walk down and go, "I'm still fucking hustling." The way Georgia would say, "Ila, I was busting my ass out the door today, and I didn't even get breakfast." You know that connection you have with
Yeah.
people.
I know what you're
God
talking
damn
about.
it! Maybe I should just take my own note and apply it to myself, and just go like, Bert. Do you like how deep I've gotten on this podcast with my daughter?
Not with your wife, just your daughter.
Isla's sitting here going like, who the fuck is Sarah Blakely?
Yeah, I don't know who that is.
She created Spanx. Do you know what Spanx are?
Spankies?
Spanx.
Like
It's like a modern day
spandex?
girdle.
Oh, the spandex.
Yeah, they're real thick, tight girdles that you wear.
Billionaire, Isla. She's a billionaire.
But that, that's the thing is that people go into that sphere, and I think they just
I do
forget.
too. By the way, I do too. Hardcore. I go into that sphere. I go into that sphere. I lean into it. So it's a more comfortable place to be.
I need a red eye. What'd you need?
I need some wine.
Like a red eye. Glass of wine.
How about a glass of wine? How about one? You mean for me? Awesome.
By the way, I apologize to Sarah Blakely and to her husband Jesse in that I am identical to them and I'm shitting on them, noticing my flaws.
Well, most of the time, people that we have a big reaction to are some type of mirror.
It connects with what the thing you don't like in
some
yourself.
type of mirror. We're all mirrors of each other.
I'm a fucking asshole.
I mean,
All right, let's
Isla and I
wrap this up.
are legit mirrors.
Oh,
right?
the fuck you aren't. Can I tell you my
Fuck,
favorite?
we aren't?
Can
What
I
do
tell you
mean?
my favorite Isla Leanne story? And all of a sudden, I know you've heard this, and I'll tell it again. Leanne and Isla fighting first thing in the morning. Do you remember this, Isla?
No.
They're
Which
fighting
time?
first thing in the morning. So bad that Leanne is spitting nails in her closet. And I go out to Isla where the shoes are, and I go into the closet and apologize to your mom and say you're ready to go to school. And Isla goes, fine. walks into the closet, sees Leanne in the closet and goes, Mom? She goes, yes. She goes, I'm ready to go to school. And Leanne goes, fine, and walks out of the closet. I look at Ila and I go, the fuck? You didn't apologize. I said, come in and apologize. And Ila looks at me dead serious and goes, if I'd apologized, she would have known I was weak. And I went, what the fuck is wrong with this child? And it's the
Sounds
same
like
thing
me.
that's wrong with her mom.
Well, that sounds a lot like her dad. I don't really talk about
Bull
being weak. I
Shit.
don't ever talk about being weak.
If I'd apologized, she would have known I was weak and she would have won. I fucking looked.
Either do you remember that?
I kind of do.
Talking to Mike.
I kind of do.
New house. We just done it. And you were so angry. Do you remember the time that you and Georgia got into a fight and I made you guys apologize to each other? And I said, Georgia, there's only one thing. We were in the yellow kitchen. I said, Georgia, there's only one thing you say to your sister. Right now, you guys are teammates and you'll be teammates for the rest of your life. And if you don't realize that, then that is a failure. Mom and I will be gone one day and you'll only have each other. Georgia, there's one thing you say to your sister right now. And Georgia says, Ila, I am sorry and I love you.
I remember.
And I said, Ila, what do you say to your sister? Do you remember what you said?
Mm-hmm.
What did you say?
I don't remember.
You said, Georgia, I accept your apology.
But you didn't apologize back to her.
No.
No, because she felt like she won.
Well, here's a lesson from Dad's poignant bookend that was 25 minutes ago. We keep talking.
Jesus.
Is that the self-correcting piece would be something that you could maybe pick up on, where Dad takes a moment and he goes, you know what? Maybe that wasn't okay. Maybe I should think about that in a different way. You know what? I was kind of not processing that the right way. And I'm sorry about that. Dad is amazing at that. I'm not amazing at that. Dad is. So that's a little something you could learn from Dad, is to not be afraid to self-reflect and then be responsible for what you've discovered when you've reflected. And sometimes Dad self-reflects and goes, nope, I was absolutely right.
Very seldomly
No,
ever.
but sometimes you do. It's very seldom. Yes, you're right.
I am, you know for a fact, I always think I'm wrong.
You mean in the self-reflection or in the moment?
In life, I said to you the other day, I say sorry way too much. I say it to strangers. I can't help it.
Yes, you do say sorry way too much.
All right, let's
I
go.
don't say sorry.
No shit, you don't.
You need to work on that.
Yeah, hardcore.
Sure.
I'm
All right,
positive.
let's wrap this fucking podcast
I'm
up.
sorry this podcast was so long.
Ila, I'm sorry that you don't know how to apologize.
I forgive you.
No.
Nice, Ila. Nice.
Leanne, I'm sorry I was being stinky at the beginning of this podcast.
I'm sorry. I was being stinky at the beginning of this
Do you have
podcast.
anything to say to me, Mom?
I love you.
I love you too.
Thanks, baby. Hey, Bert, I love you.
I'm sorry that you love me.
Why?
Must be a fucking uphill battle. I love you, girls. Let's wrap this up. Let's go inside. Let's go take Georgia for a drive. 7 minutes.
Are you serious?
7 minutes.
No.
7 minutes. What time is it?
I am. Yeah. Okay. All right. Thanks, everybody.
Love you guys.